Hello there, everyone. Welcome to our second day of SaaS Insider annual event. Today we have another leader in customer success. Today we have Gowri Ramkumar. I wanted to mention that name clearly because we have the name here on the display. It's Gowri Ramkumar. She's been leading various tech activities for the last 15 years in India, and also she's the VP of Sales and Customer Success at Gowri.co. They've been doing brilliant stuff, and backstage we were just having a wonderful conversation on how things have been for SaaS and how the industry is growing. So today we invite her to share her insights in customer success and give us all those valuable information that she's been collecting all through this years. Welcome again, Gowri.
Thank you, Ananda. Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for patiently waiting for the session. I know it's a jam-packed 2 days event and so many speakers talking about so many things. But once again, I thank you for waiting this long for the session to happen. Thank you, Ananda.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. So yeah, as you said, there have been lots of leaders talking about various activities, and customer success is again nothing to be forgotten. It's very crucial for both companies who are just starting up or companies who are already established. We're all here to serve our customers, and customers are the king. So we wanted to start up with a question to just understand how crucial customer success is for both startups or established companies, and how you've been doing it across these years in Gowri.co and other companies.
Sure. So let me introduce a little bit about myself and then how I am related to this topic. So, I don't need to reiterate my name, but I joined Gowri.co about 7 years ago, and when I joined the company, it was a two-man company. It was a founder and another person, both technical. In fact, our CEO Saravana Kumar, he's from a technical background. The history about the company is our first product, Bistock 360. It was built keeping community in mind. So Saravana was in Bistock for around 15 years, and then he spotted the same problem everywhere whenever he went for Bistock implementation, and that kind of triggered an idea to build a monitoring solution for Bistock. And he initially pitched it to the community as a proof of concept, and then he believed it could become a good product or serve the community, Bistock community. And that's how the whole company started, our first flagship product. So the reason I wanted to bring this history is, what is the root of our company? So the root is the community. Community is nothing but our customers. So right from the beginning, we had only one goal in mind: keeping our customers happy. So even now, when we have a sales team of around 50 people, that everybody believes in that one sentence: keeping our customers happy. And that's what we aim to do in every single step, right from product development till we say a attrition customer. Yeah. So sorry.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's again brings us to the topic, right? So how to build a long-standing customer success channel and a customer success engine, and how crucial it is. I'm sure you might have faced different scenarios in Gowri.co and building it from the ground up. I'm sure there will be lots of uphill hurdles. So how do you generally build trust with your customers? Because that's something crucial for any company, because you're selling a solution to them. They might not be familiar with it. You might actually be solving a problem that's very crucial for them, but they might not understand it. So we need to build that trust, both as a brand, and as a product that's solving the problem. So how have you tackled it?
Sure. I think that's a very important question, especially when you are in a SaaS business, either being a startup or an established company. Because the trust doesn't happen in one day, right? I always tell my team, just imagine you are getting a new friend. How do you trust the friend? Of course, you don't build the trust from your first sight, right? Some people, they get that connect right from the first sight. But By various small activities, you gradually build the trust between your friendship, and you reach a stage where you are open to talk about anything to that friend. So the same example is what you need to bring to your customers as well. So customers are another human being. They are not you shouldn't treat them like, okay, I've got this customer, this person prospect, I need to now try to sell something that I have. No, you need to first step to having a long lasting customer or loyal customer is building the trust within your customer. So how do you build the trust? It doesn't happen just with one action. Every little things adds up to building the trust and eventually having a long lasting customer. So your product, the first experience with your product should be good, and your first interaction with the sales team or any team, whoever is going to first connect with your prospect, should be good. And then when the the prospect becomes a customer, how is that handover to the customer happiness team? How is the customer happiness team taking that customer throughout that initial stages, the technical support? So every little pieces should work together intact to build the trust in the initial days. Because you will agree with me, everybody is in a world of some skepticism, right? So when I am trying a product, let's say for example I want to try Zadal, when I click my trial sign up button, I am in a sense of some skepticism, because I don't know what is going to come my way. Am I going to get so many marketing emails? Am I going to be bombarded with so many initial calls? Am I going to be sold to something that I don't know what it is? So many confusions in your mind, and skepticisms are floating when when your first step is taken. As a uh, as a customer experience, you should make sure that you break that skepticism. So how do you break that skepticism? By being yourself, being natural, because your customer is another human being, and you need to understand that psychology. The every I always tell my team that every prospect is not a customer, right? So everybody's needs will be different. Your goal in the initial stages is to identify what they want, what is their requirement, whether you fit their requirement. Have you broken that skepticism? Have you given that comfortable level for them to talk to you? After which you slowly build the trust, and then you are at a stage where each other can talk freely. Even if they want to leave you after 30 days of spending time with you, they should feel comfortable to come and tell you why they want to leave you, because that why is very important. That's the feedback that will enrich your support, your experience, and ultimately your product.
Definitely, definitely. That's it. Getting our customers to be happy is not just a one-person event, as you just said. Like everyone's interaction is required. Like your sales, your support, your product, and everything is taken into consideration. And thank you for mentioning Zerl over there. And we are trying to have that customer first approach as well. So, like, I'm sure, like, whatever you said would have helped anyone who has joined us. Maybe they might be just starting out with sales, they might be starting out with support, or maybe they're just trying to build a product. So, I'm sure they would make use of this, like, to take the customer's perspective in hand and work from there. And you also mentioned like handing over a customer once they become a customer to the success team or the customer happiness team, right? So how do they usually build relationships? Like what are the various interactions they have? What are the various value props they give, and how do they regularly take care of their customer? What's the optimal way to handle this?
Sure. So, what you need to make sure is you understand the customer psychology. So, long gone are those days where sales has to be top notch. All the care should be handled only by the sales team, and once they become our customer, they are like tied to the product. No, a customer rules rules. The customer is who decides to stay with us or leave us at any point. So it becomes prime importance to look after our existing customers in the same way how we will be treating any new prospects. So how do we make sure that our customer success team gives the same experience, great experience to our existing customers? It's simply by knowing why the customer wanted your product or your company in the first place. So you should understand the customer's psychology. So when the handover happens, you need to make sure what the customer was looking for, why they want to build their business with us in their journey, and um, what is their geographical location, some industry background. So all this information needs to be handed over to the success team so that they have some groundwork already given to them. Then your success team needs to proactively act on all those available information, and they need to again start building the trust with the customer. So the same thing goes again, every little things, the way you email, the way you handle your customer support tickets, how quickly are you responding to their queries. It doesn't mean that you need to give the answers every time the right way, but how are you taking their questions, how do you want to approach them? So all these little things will add up in enriching the trust, because by the time your prospect becomes your customer, they are only halfway through that whole trust process. From here, to enrich the trust, only your support team, your customer success team can help you there. So how do they how can you make sure that the customer success team does this carefully is by giving enough information from your SDR team or sales team to the success team. So that's what I believe in making our customers happy.
Definitely, I agree 100% with you, because I recently had a conversation with our CEO at Zerl as well. So he was also like saying the same principle. So you're not going to have any transactional conversation with your customers, because there are hundreds of companies that already do that and they're not succeeding at it, because customer is looking for a relationship. He's looking for some trust to like use a solution to solve this problem. So I think, I'm sure, like anyone who, whether it's in sales, product, or support, like you have to build that trust and you have to build that relationship to move it forward, to make them feel at home, like not just a transactional relationship with another company, but as a friend, or someone else who's there to solve a problem for you. That's again, at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. So, and
Absolutely.
uh, yeah, and talking about customer success, like this, I'm sure you would have had this question, like from your peers or from your boss, or like whoever you work across, right? So, how do you measure customer success? Because it's not something that's clearly visible. Like that's very evident. Like it's not like since you just mail, they're not gonna buy another platform again. But how do you? What's the optimal way to measure it? And how have you been measuring? And like how has it turned out so far?
Sure. So let me, to answer that question, let me tell you what happens if you don't look after your customer, right? So just to give you a little bit more example, um, uh, everything that comes to your own life will teach you some experience, right? So there is this good, very well-known coffee shop. It's a world famous brand. You go buy coffee with them, and for example, if the coffee is a bit cold or if it's not to the same taste as it's supposed to be, if you go to them and you tell them, oh, I think the coffee is a bit too cold or it doesn't have the same taste, no questions asked, they simply throw out the coffee and they give you a fresh one. So that's one experience. So that simple act will make you to be a loyal customer to that brand. And this is the same experience you will get anywhere you go in the world, either it being New York, London, or India, or wherever you go. It's the same principle every single shop has. So that's the level of customer treatment you should universally follow if you want a good, long lasting customer. Now, what happens if you don't have a good customer experience built? your customers, they will start looking for some alternatives, which means you will lose them at an early stage as soon as they sign up, provided there is a good match or a requirement and there is no other product like yours in the market. So they will start shopping around in the early stages. That will lead you to a high attrition rate. And not only that, now the social media is very powerful, right? Everybody's got freedom to write reviews about anything, everything they come across in their life. So one bad review is enough to bring your company and business down. So you have a customer leaving you at the early stage, high attrition rate, and reviews going around various platforms in different angles, and ultimately putting your business at risk. So these are the bad impacts of customer experience. So again, how do you turn all these around? So why a customer success or a good customer experience is important? To reduce your attrition. That's the key point. You don't want to you spend all your either it being 1 month or even 10 days or 5 days or 6 months. You try so hard to convince your customer prospect to become a customer, and with just one team's bad experience, you shouldn't lose them. So all your hard work is gone out of the window. So to reduce the customer attrition, you definitely need to give your customer a good experience, and also to have a loyal customer. So the customer should feel happy and excited to come and talk to your team, to come and tell their problem about your product. So you should have that loyalty, that trusted mindset customer. So how do you bring that? Only by giving a good experience right from the beginning, not with just one team, but even within the product, the customer should feel comfortable and happy to open up their mind. So just to reduce the attrition, to build a loyal customer, long-lasting customer. So if you look after these 2 points, the third thing, which is the review or bringing expansion or cross-selling, upselling, all these things will automatically happen. So that's why we take it as primary importance to make sure anything and everything we do, we keep our customer as our main focus. And of course, when your customer success team is talking to your customer, and if he's giving some feedback about your product or your service, that has to be actioned as well. So you need to take that feedback to the engineering team. The engineering team should agree or suggest why they don't want to do XYZ. And the conversation should be transparent, and it has to be transactional in all ways. Otherwise, the customer will keep giving feedback and you don't listen to it or you don't action it. At one point, the customer will feel there's no point telling these people. They are not even doing anything for me, whatever I told them already. So every level, you need to make sure if customers are not there, your business is not there. So there are only 3 ingredients which we take in Kowai as main ingredients. One is the product, because if the product is not there, there's nothing to sell. The second main thing is your team, your own company employees, your individual team, your colleagues. And the third important ingredient is the customer. So when these 3 work together, you make magic. You make the best biryani.
Wonderfully good. Like I'm sure like it's not a one day thing, and again, like handling churn, handling customer happiness, it's just not a one person effort. It's a cultural effort, and only a company that's unified by culture that puts the customer first can definitely win at it. So like one last question. I think I didn't like this is out of the blue. So for startups, so companies who are just starting up, maybe they're like two, like how Kowai started, or a 10 member company who are primarily focused on the product right now. So they might be having 1 or 2 salespeople. So how do they like set some parameters to ensure their customers are happy? Like we might not have an essential customer success person there, but there might be a salesperson who can also be that customer happiness agent. So what kind of parameters can they set? Like you've said, like emails, like you can contact them, you can have a conversation with them. So is that specifically different for startups, or is it also somewhat similar?
Right. This brings back memories to me when I started my career in Gowri. So when I started, I said there were two people, right, and they were both technical, and they were looking after the sales as well. So they were juggling their day-to-day activities, looking after technical support from existing customers, building the product, trying to reach out to new prospects, going to events, promoting the product. So there were so many hats. And I think when we got maybe the first 20 customers is when we thought maybe we should have somebody dedicated for sales or looking after our new inquiries. So I joined the company, and then I slowly started picking up existing customers, and I was given maybe 200 names, uh, uh, got through few events, and I started calling them. So many mistakes happens, I have called to few people who were very close friend of CEO trying to pitch the product, and after 15 minutes of my conversation they will say, I'm a good friend of your CEO, so I don't need your product. Nice. Thank you. Or I have called existing customers who are using the product without knowing that they are I didn't know at that time they were an existing customer. I thought they are very good prospect because they have all the initial basic needs. And after again 10 minutes of conversation, they will say, oh, okay, I'm your existing customer. Okay, fine. So you learn quite a lot, so when you ask that question, it's just coming to my memories, and I'm just reminding how I handled these things. So you said the right thing. When you're a startup, you are cautious of what you spend. You're tight on budget, and at the same time you have great ambitions, aspirations to grow in this space. So I looked after the sales, I looked after the customer success team, and apart from the technical support, because I can't code and fix bugs, apart from that one division, most anything to do with the customers, I was the only person doing for at least 8 months. Then we slowly hired new people. So one thing I was right from the beginning, sure is any email comes from any existing customer or new inquiries, the quicker you respond. I found out that the the build of trust increased. And you don't need to be always talking only about your product, your sales, your business. You need to be a bit more friendly. And uh, many of my conversations in the initial days, I never opened about their the product at all. I was I don't know, somewhere in my thinking, I was I don't know whether I did it knowingly or unknowingly, I never wanted to sell. I always wanted to build that trust first. So I happened to ask what was their problem, what is happening around them. Some conversations were like around their family, if they are okay to open up, and what's happening around their cities. So all these initial non-technical, non-product conversations leads to eventually becoming more and more trustworthy person, and eventually buying the product. Because these days you have lot of options, right? You take any product, you have lot of options. But why would a customer go with one product? Because of the experience you give, because of your team member whom they are connecting with, because of the support you're giving to them, level of care you take for them. So these are the things that makes a customer to stick to your product. So either it being a startup or a very well established organization, you need to only keep this in mind. So you shouldn't be worrying about how can I close this sale, oh, when is he going to come and sign that dotted line so I can get the PO and invoice. That will eventually happen, provided you fit what they want. So that's been the only thing I made sure to look after. And again, to answer your question, I think to SaaS companies who are small in number, That's what you need to focus as a salesperson. You take off the sales hat always and bring your human hat back. You are talking to another human being. You want to first understand their psychology, and then slowly everything will fall in place.
Wonderfully put, wonderfully put. I actually take away lots of things from this specific answer of yours, because as you said, it's at the end of the day, it's not just numbers and metrics and targets. It's a human conversation, and startups who are trying to build their company, they have to get the right humans to accept their idea, their platform, and everything. So like the more human conversations that you build, like whatever domain be it, let it be. Like, it shouldn't just be sales support. Even if you're an engineer, like working with other stakeholders, I'm sure like having a human conversation can solve a lot of the problems. Because most of the times we always put ourselves into some difficult situation because we have transactional conversations. Just talk about numbers, not about the problem and how to solve it together. Like, as you said,
Absolutely.
if companies start to like talk to their customers to solve problems for them together, I'm sure they'll stand out, and I'm sure they'll definitely make more sales and become a better company. And
Absolutely. Just to add to that point, Ananda, if I can allow, if I'm allowed, before you start engaging in those non technical conversations, you also need to understand different things about the customer, right? Because your business is now global. You're not dealing with just one geographical location or one segment of people. You will be talking to multiple range of characters, and they all come from different backgrounds, uh, different culture. So do a little bit of homework. You just see who is the person, where is he from. Then you try to connect a little bit about their place, because we what I have found out is, it's very easy to open up to few regions than to other regions, because that's their nature. They don't, however friendly you are, they don't want, they like to keep a level. So you need to do a little bit of homework before you pick up their call, or before even you type that first few lines in your email. So that little homework will definitely give you lots of useful fruits in the later stages.
brilliant. Understanding your audience is also crucial. So they might not
Absolutely.
always be have a problem. They might just be browsing essence. So you have to understand them to like have the right conversation. Like that's definitely a gold in terms of insights into that domain. So I'm sure like lots of people have attended. Like with this, I think we're almost towards the end. Like you've shared like so much insights. I'm sure anyone who's starting up their career or anyone who's setting up their customer success section, I'm sure they would have like taken lots of insights from whatever you've shared with us, and I'm sure like they'll also have like want to build that human conversation going forward, and I'll be happy if that happens. I am happy that Assassin Center contributed to it, and from like a shameless plug from Zadal, like we also have that human first interaction, and we're trying to like build everything based on what our customer needs. So hopefully we'll try to take some of the insights that you've shared with us as well, and we'll try to build on that too. So I'll open up the question and answer section if anyone's interested. Uh, I don't think there's anything new. But okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to tag SAS Insider or me or even Gowri, and it's Gowri Ramkumar. We'll ensure that we'll like do a tweet and a LinkedIn post with the right tag. Please follow her and ask her any questions. She'll be more like both her and the SAS Insider team will be more than happy to help you out. Right. With that, thank you, Gauri. Thank you so much for sharing all those key insights. Hopefully, like you would have helped the lives of some professional there somewhere around the corner.
Thank you once again, Ananda, and everyone, for all your time you spent with me, and of course in the last 2 days. It's great connecting with you all, and yeah, please feel free to post any questions. Ping me in my LinkedIn, and I'm happy to assist and spread the joy of happy customers.
Happy customers indeed. All right. Thank you, Gauri.
Thank
Until
you.
next time.
Bye bye.